On the morning we left for our honeymoon, I remember standing in front of the mirror in our small Texas apartment, staring at my reflection and telling myself that I was ready for this new chapter. My name is Emily Hart, and just 3 days earlier, I had married the man I believed truly understood my heart. Daniel Price, calm, patient, and gentle in all the ways I wasn't. He was the steady ground beneath my whirlwind thoughts. But nothing could prepare me for what would unfold on that trip, miles away from home, where unexpected moments have a way of revealing truths we didn't know were hiding. Our destination was a quiet coastal town in Maine, a place we chose because it felt far away from wedding noise, family expectations, and the chaos of daily life. We wanted something simple, something peaceful. When we landed, the cool air greeted us like a soft whisper, so different from Texas heat that clung to the skin. The town had homes painted in pastel blues and greens, little cafes with handwritten menus, and oceanfront trails that seemed to stretch forever. On our first night, Daniel seemed distracted. I told myself it was just exhaustion, but something about the way he kept checking his phone made my stomach twist. He tried to hide it when I glanced his way, slipping it face down on the bed and smiling like everything was fine. I tried not to think too much of it. We were newlyweds, nothing was supposed to be wrong. The next morning, after breakfast at a tiny cafe called the Blue Harbor, I suggested we explore the town. Daniel agreed, but the distraction from the night before lingered. As we wandered through the local shops, he'd occasionally step away to answer messages, always trying to appear casual. I reassured myself that maybe it was just work. They'd been short-staffed, and even though he'd arranged time off, emergencies didn't wait for vacations. By the afternoon, clouds rolled in, brushing the town with a gentle gray. We decided to walk along the pier, watching the waves slap softly against the wooden pillars. I tried slipping my hand into his, hoping to pull him into the moment, but his fingers felt slightly tense. I looked up at him. "You okay?" I asked. He met my eyes and forced a small smile. "Yeah, just tired." I didn't believe it, but I wanted to. Later, back at the hotel, everything shifted. While Daniel showered, I sat on the edge of the bed, absent-mindedly fiddling with the ribbon on a gift bag our friends had given us. That was when a soft knock came at the door. I froze at first, thinking maybe it was room service. But when I opened the door, a woman stood there. She looked to be in her early 30s, wearing a navy jacket and holding a clipboard. Her expression was warm but anxious. "Hi," she said. "I'm sorry to bother you. Is this room 214? Are you the Prices?" "Yes," I replied, confused. "I'm Emily." "Oh good. I've been trying to reach Daniel. I left a message at the front desk. Maybe he didn't get it." She glanced behind me toward the bathroom door, where the shower still ran softly. "My name is Sarah Coleman. I was hoping to speak with him. It's regarding something important." Immediately my heart raced, though I didn't know why. I moved aside slightly, and Sarah stepped in. Before I could ask anything else, Daniel emerged from the bathroom, towel wrapped around his waist, hair dripping. His eyes widened when he saw Sarah. "Daniel," she said quietly, "I think we need to talk." He grabbed his clothes, muttered something about getting dressed, and disappeared back into the bathroom. I stood there in silence with this stranger, my heart pounding so loudly I wondered if she could hear it. I finally found my voice. "Who exactly are you?" She hesitated. "I work with the Marine Rescue Center. Yesterday evening, someone matching Daniel's description reported something on the North Cliff Trail. We just needed to follow up." The words hit me like cold water. "Reported something?" She nodded. "A missing hiker." Suddenly, the worry on his face the night before began to make sense. All this time I'd thought it was our marriage, or me, or something between us. Instead, he'd kept something else entirely, from fear, I later learned, not secrecy. Daniel came out fully dressed, and the three of us sat down. He finally explained. He'd gone for a short walk before dinner the night before to clear his head. While on the trail overlooking the cliffs, he heard someone shouting. When he approached, he saw a backpack and belongings scattered, no person in sight. He called it in immediately but was hesitant to worry me or ruin our first night. The rescue team searched until after midnight with no sign of the missing person. Sarah had returned to gather more details. She needed Daniel to walk the trail with her team, show them exactly where he had been, and recount what he saw with precision. Fear crawled into my chest. What if that missing person had been hurt? What if Daniel had been in danger without me knowing? Daniel turned to me. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I didn't want to ruin this trip. And honestly, I didn't want you to panic." His honesty hurt, not because he hid something terrible, but because he didn't trust that I could handle it. Our honeymoon wasn't about perfection, but partnership. I took a quiet breath. "Just don't shut me out again." He nodded, his shoulders softening, eyes apologizing more than his words ever could. Sarah asked if he could come immediately. Daniel agreed, and I insisted on coming with them. By the time we reached the trail, the sun had dipped low, casting everything in orange. A team of 3 rescuers was already there, reviewing maps and coordinates. Daniel walked them through everything he remembered. He pointed to the spot where he heard the shout, the direction the wind had been blowing, even the distant buoy sound he'd heard from the lighthouse. I could see guilt weighing on him, not because he'd done something wrong, but because he felt responsible for a stranger's fate. Hours passed. The air turned colder. Just as the team considered suspending the search until morning, one of the rescuers called out. They'd found the missing hiker, exhausted, disoriented, but alive, several hundred yards down a sloped ravine. The man had slipped, injured his ankle, and become trapped without a phone signal. The moment they brought him up, I saw the relief flood Daniel's face. I stepped closer and squeezed his hand. He squeezed back, this time without hesitation. As we walked back toward the parking lot, Sarah thanked him again. You probably saved that man's life, she said. If you hadn't reported it, he might not have lasted another night out there. For the first time since we arrived in Maine, Daniel's shoulders lifted, not in pride, but in release. Back at the hotel, we sat together on the bed, wrapped in blankets. The weight of the day settled between us, but it wasn't heavy. It was clarifying. I wasn't trying to hide things, he said softly. I just wanted this honeymoon to be perfect for you. I rested my head on his shoulder. Perfect isn't real, but honesty is. He smiled, brushing a loose strand of hair behind my ear. We're still figuring this out, huh? We always will, I replied. That's the point. For the remainder of the trip, we didn't chase perfection. We let the wind mess up our hair. We laughed when the rain suddenly drenched us during a beach walk. We ate blueberry pie for breakfast one morning just because it felt like a honeymoon thing to do. And every night, before falling asleep, we talked openly about fears, hopes, expectations, and even mistakes. On the flight home, Daniel took my hand, lifted it to his lips, and whispered, "Thank you for not giving up on me." I glanced at him, grateful for everything we'd gone through. What really happened on our honeymoon, I said, is that we learned how to really be married. And that, more than any perfect trip, changed everything.